Time I'd like to call the regularly scheduled village board meeting Tuesday, July 18, 2017. Let the record reflect at 7:30. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Trustee Yonker.
Here.
Trustee Panito.
Here.
Trustee Berg.
Here.
Trustee Brady.
Here.
Trustee Glotz.
Present.
Trustee Mangan.
Here.
And President Vandenberg.
Here, thank you. Item number 1. This time I'd ask for a motion to consider approval of the agenda. Do I have a motion? Properly moved by Mr. Yonker. Do I have a second?
Second.
Seconded by Trustee Berg. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Item number 2. At this time, I'd ask for a motion to consider approval of the minutes of the special village board meeting held on July 11, 2017. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Properly moved by Mr. Yonker and seconded by Mr.
Brady.
Thank you. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Item number 3. At this time, I'd ask for a motion to consider approval of the following consent agenda items. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Moved by Mr. Yonker and a second.
I'll second.
Seconded by Mr. Mangan. Madam Clerk.
Consent agenda item A. Consider the following appointments for the 2017-2018 Tinley Park Brand Leadership Subcommittee of the Main Street Commission. Members. New members are Jay Dam, and new associate members are Nick Markowitz and Beth McKernan. Item B. Consider the following appointments for the 2017-2018 Environmental Enhancement Commission. Erin G. Ariano and Jeffrey M. Loftus. Item C. Consider renewing a professional services agreement with GovTemp USA for provision of an interim community development director with Paula Walrich. Item D. Consider awarding a contract with Aquamis Plumbing and Lawn Sprinkling Company, Incorporated for Oak Lawn irrigation in an amount not to exceed $28,000 and $28,907, Item E. Consider request for a block party permit on Saturday, August 5th, 2017, on Westbury Lane cul-de-sac between 8531 and 8546 from 3 p.m. to 10 p.m. Item F, consider request for a block party permit on Friday, July 28th, 2017, on 172nd Street between Oak Park Avenue and 67th Court from 4 p.m. to 10 p.m. for a VFW number 2791 fundraising event. And lastly, item G, payment of outstanding bills in the amount of $1,711,601.22 as listed on the vendor board approval report dated July 14th, 2017.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. At this time, are there any board members that care to remove any of the items from the consent agenda? Any discussion amongst any of these?
There's no discussion. Consent.
Thank you, Mr. Yonker. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Trustee Yonker.
Yay.
Trustee Panito.
Yes.
Trustee Berg.
Yes.
Trustee Brady.
Yes.
Trustee Glotz.
Yes.
Trustee Mangan.
Yes.
Thank you. Item number 4, Clerk Therian.
I'd now like to conduct a swearing-in ceremony for new library board trustee, Patricia Adranijo. Okay, please raise your right hand. Repeat after me. I state your name.
I, Patricia Adranijo,
Having been appointed
having been appointed
to the office of library trustee
to the office of library trustee
in the village of Tinley Park,
in the village of Tinley Park,
the counties of Cook and Will,
in the counties of Cook and Will,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution
and the Constitution
of the State of Illinois,
of the State of Illinois,
and that I will faithfully discharge
and I will faithfully discharge
the duties of the office
the duties of the office
of library trustee
of library trustee
according to the best of my ability,
according to the best of my ability.
so help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
We have some photos. Waist up, please.
Want a curtain? What's the waist up? Everybody want a curtain?
Well, I wasn't. You're gonna do it tonight. Congratulations. Come on, bring it down. I gotta wear the suit every day.
Right.
Very good. Item number 5, Trustee Yonker.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'd like the board to consider awarding a one-year extension under the contract with Denler Incorporated for crack sealing.
So moved.
Moved by Mr. Glotz. Go ahead, Brian. It was moved, wasn't it? He moved it?
Moved by Brian, seconded by Trustee.
Thank you.
The annual crack sealing program entails filling cracks and into the roadbed project of the road base from moisture damage. By performing crack sealing, the life of the road surface is typically extended by 2 to 3 years. Approximately 350,000 feet of crack filling on the village-owned roadways and 22,225 feet of village-owned parking lots is expected to be done in the 2017 construction season. The village previously solicited public bids for crack sealing on July 29, 2015, and awarded a contract to Denler Incorporated. The terms of the agreement will allow the village to extend the contract for up to 2 additional years at the same pricing and the terms of the village's sole discretion. Denler Incorporated has performed crack sealing work for the village in the past, and their work has been deemed to be of acceptable quality. Staff is recommending that the village authorize the 3rd and final year of service under the contract. This item was discussed July 11, 2017, Public Works Committee meeting and recommended for approval.
Appreciate it, Brian. Any comments or questions from the board?
Hey, Brian, will that fall under prevailing wage?
Yes, I'll work with the village. There's a standard, every contract, yes.
Usually sometimes it's in there, so I'm asking.
Yeah.
Any other comments or questions from the board? Any comments or questions from the public? This is an expenditure of funds. Let the record reflect there are none. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Trustee Yonker.
Yay.
Trustee Panito.
Yes.
Trustee Berg.
Yes.
Trustee Brady.
Yes.
Trustee Glotz.
Yes.
Trustee Mangan.
Yes.
Thank you. Motion carries. Item number 6, Trustee Yonker.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'd like the board to consider awarding a contract to Davis Concrete for the 175th Street South Sidewalk Installation, Ridgeland Avenue to Tinley Park High School.
Properly moved by Mr. Yonker. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Moved by Mr. Mangan. Go ahead, Brian.
The sidewalks along 175th Street between Ridgeland Avenue and Tinley Park High School are incomplete. There's currently an uninterrupted sidewalk on the north side of the street, but the sidewalk lies on the opposite side of the street from the school. However, on the south side of 175th Street, the sidewalk currently ends about 350 feet east of Ridgeland Avenue. As a result, many students over the years have been walking in the street instead of using the available sidewalk on the north side of the street and putting themselves and vehicles at risk. The village has received many complaints about the lack of sidewalks on the south side of 175th Street to the school. The scope of work includes construction of the new sidewalk on the south side of 175th Street from the east side of Ridgeland Avenue to Tinley Park High School. The sidewalk alignment will be adjusted to accommodate existing landscaping along this route. Bids for the project were received on June 15, 2017. Davis Concrete out of Monee was the low bidder at $143,984.60. It was determined that Davis Concrete provided the village with the lowest responsible bid.
Thanks, Brian. Madam Clerk, if you could also incorporate the other bids into the record, if you could, please. Any other comments or questions from the board regarding this item?
Yeah, Dave, can you make sure in the item before that, we get the certified payroll before we pay?
Yes.
Thanks.
Any other comments or questions from the board? Any comments or questions from the public? No, this is
One thing I'd like to mention.
Go ahead, Calvin.
We're still waiting on a Cook County permit for that, so as soon as we get that, we'll go ahead and move forward.
Do we have an expected time frame on that?
We're hoping in the next couple of weeks, we'd like to get it in before the school season, but if we answer their comments, hopefully we have that soon.
Certainly. I just like to thank you for keeping up with this. I know that this was an issue that came up last year. So Brian, so hats off to you guys for following through on what you told the public in reference to public safety and keeping all the kids safe as they go over to school. No comments or questions from the public at all? Let the record reflect there are none. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Trustee Yonker.
Yay.
Trustee Panito.
Yes.
Trustee Berg.
Yes.
Trustee Brady.
Yes.
Trustee Glotz.
Yes.
Trustee Mangan.
Yes.
Motion carries. Thank you. Item number 7, receive comments from the board and staff. I have a couple of housekeeping items I'd like to address. First, I received a letter from the Tinley Park District thanking the Village of Tinley Park for their efforts and contributions for the July 4th celebration of fireworks. I'd like to take this opportunity to thank Trustee Byrd, Brady, and Mangan, and myself, obviously, for going and participating in the events. It was very well attended. There was a very large crowd this year. I think it had a lot to do with the beautiful day that we had, and certainly because I believe that Tinley Park District performs one of the best southwest suburbs fireworks shows. So this was from the Park District. I'll turn this over to the clerk's office. We can incorporate that into our record. I think this is a nice gesture on their behalf. I'd also like to take a moment and recognize all those who participated in this past weekend's block party event. It was a great success if you were there. I'm sure you witnessed that. But for those that weren't, I'd like to take a moment and just kind of give you a general overview of kind of what happened this weekend besides the gorgeous weather. Again, we had a very large event, a lot of great entertainers, a lot of great bands, a lot of vendors. But I'd like to single out some people that were very influential in making that day successful. Obviously, the village staff in our marketing department, specifically Donna, Vicky, and Sue, and the rest of the marketing department. You guys did a great job, so hats off to you guys. Everyone that kept us safe, Tinley Park Police Department, Fire Department, EMS, you guys did an exemplary job providing a high level of service. I believe it to be a very calm year for service calls, which is a good thing. So thank you very much. The Tinley Park Public Works staff for their tireless work all day, morning, afternoon, and night to make sure that the event went out with a flawless hit. So thank you very much, Kevin, to you and you guys. You guys did a great job. The Tinley Park Main Street Commission, this I believe came through their commission. They do this every year. They did a great job. I'd just like to commend them for their service to the community and continuing to move forward with our initiatives for downtown Tinley Park. So hats off to the commission as well. Oak Park Avenue businesses. The Oak Park Avenue businesses that participated as a vendor and those that didn't. They obviously had several hours during that day that they weren't able to conduct business, so I'd like to thank them for their patience, as well as any of those that participated. I know that there were several out there, so thanks to all of them, as well as all the rest of the vendors that participated in the day. I think it brings out exactly the character of what Tinley Park's all about. Yep. The two finals, I already mentioned them, the entertainers and the bands. They did a great job, as with our branding initiatives. This is it's great to see that we had some nice acts. Looked like they were well attended. I know I enjoyed two of them, so thank you very much to them. And then last and most importantly, all the families that were able to come out and enjoy the day. You know, the day is not what it is except for when the residents and their families come out and really soak up what it's all about. So thanks to all of them. Thanks for all those that participated. Again, I look forward to next year. So. I believe that's all I have.
Mr. Mayor, if I could go back to your 4th of July celebration. Some people knew that I ran the 5K, and the question was, how long did it take me? Well, I finished it. That's all I'm saying.
I'll leave it at that. Thanks,
There we
Mr.
go.
Any other comments from the board?
Yeah, I had something. From the last meeting, I just wanted to touch a little bit on the engineering contract. There actually is a provision for professional services in the state statute for home rule towns that I actually sent village manager and Attorney Conley. I want to thank the village manager and Kevin Workowski for listening and sitting down with the new engineering firm and letting everyone know that they did negotiate the rates. And they are bringing the rates down to the other two bids, which will be 20 to 30% savings. So hopefully $300,000 to $400,000 in savings. It's not official. It's a verbal. Christopher Burke. They have to put it in writing yet and send it to Dave. So nice job, Kevin and Dave, on that. Something else I wanted to touch. If Chief Neubauer, if you could touch for people on the bar cars, for everyone, that's been a question people ask about what's going around. If you could kind of explain that a little bit about what days and hours do we have, how are they directed with the patrons and stuff like that.
Sure. So your question today was enforcement in the bars and special patrols in the bars during the busy time. And we have a program set up with the part-time police that on Thursday night and Saturday night, we have bar cars out there. If we have a part-time officer available from about 10 p.m. to 3 a.m. on Thursday and to 4 a.m. on Friday, and you might see them, they'll grab the paddy wagon and they will patrol up on the bars and go into bars, check and make sure everything is secure, check with security, who really, with their liquor license, the bar owners are responsible for maintaining order in their bars. But they do check with that. Sometimes we have a little bit of a difficult time getting that covered during the theater season, but we try and get that done. We also do it during football season. On Sunday, during the afternoons, we'll have extra people out in the bar areas. And when the Chicago team's in the playoffs, but I don't know that we're going to have to worry this year.
Cross your fingers.
Since January 1st till today, we've done 560 man-hours bar patrol.
Okay. By any chance, would any of the calls or reports maybe possibly warning having a second detail for any on the weekend at all, or is everything pretty good?
You know, everything seems fine, and like everything else, we use our part-time police officers as booking officers on the weekend. It's, you know, how much staff you have during the busy time. So we try and spread it out and do the best that we can. But I don't see anything that would warrant an extra car right now. And then, of course, the beat units are always free to go into the bars.
All right, thanks, Chief. And then if, Pat Carr, if you could touch a little on the Code Red. People have had a lot of questions on how that works.
Sure. The Code Red system is a fairly new system that we have. And I know just from reading some of the Facebook comments from the incident we had this morning, some people wanted to know why they weren't notified in that type of situation. You know, first and foremost, be assured we will notify the public if the public is in danger for a specific incident. In the situation that happened last night, it was at 2 o'clock in the morning. The people were in custody. There was no impact or any threat to any resident that was out there. So, you know, that's one of the first things that we look at. You know, number two, those things are sent out by the 911 dispatchers whenever we have an emergency incident. So we have to make sure, A, when a call comes in, we get officers to that incident. You know, B, what's going on, they report back, we have to figure out what is really going on. That takes some time. You know, a lot of people want to see instantaneous results, and sometimes there's people listening to scanners and they post things on Facebook, and that's fine. Word gets around that way, but we will not put out information until we verify it and we find that there is a threat to the public, and then we will notify the public. That's how the Code Red system works for those incidents. You know, we had a great conversation this evening with a resident about, you know, different ways of trying to communicate some of these things, and we had some great ideas. And it's always welcome from the public to keep the ideas flowing. And some of the things that have transpired over the year with marketing and the Facebook pages, that has really expanded our way to communicate to the public. And it's kudos to the citizens that really have helped us do that, because the information gets out a lot quicker now when we put it on Facebook, like we did put the incident this morning on Facebook around 7:30. Believe it or not, a lot of times, even with the old system, when we have something that happens, you know, we'll get one or two people that might send an email or call after the fact and say thank you, and then we'll get 10 to 15 people that say, take me off the list, you woke me up at 2 o'clock in the morning. So, you know, we have to gauge those things also. So that's why we really want to make sure, if we're going to send information out, that it's correct, and if there is a threat, we're going to let the people know. So the Code Red system also, you know, make sure that you go to the website and sign up on it to ensure that your numbers are in there if you want to get it. The Code Red system also gives the warnings. We've had comments on the weather warnings, and what we found out ourselves, the comments on the weather warnings are given to specific coordinates that the National Weather Service puts out. So that means, you know, the north half of the village might get a Code Red warning for severe thunderstorm, and, you know, the south of I-80 might not. So it's one of those things where, you know, you have to look at it also where that is, and just be also be aware of what the changing weather conditions are. So it's a good system. We're looking and exploring of other alternate means of communicating and notifying the public. It's a constant thing that we do with the marketing department, and they're a partner in this, in public safety, and also the citizens. The citizens, as I mentioned, this past year, with the Facebook, being up and running, and with everything that's gone on, we have a great communication going out to the citizens. So that's really it in a nutshell.
Thanks, Pat. And one last thing, first time ever, we ran out of our shirts for the block party. Thanks, Donna, and she ordered more shirts, which she will have available at the July 29th concert. So come out to the concert on the 29th, and Donna will have a whole new batch for you. Thanks, Donna.
And they're being modeled by Trustee Glatz, as a matter of fact.
In case you didn't know, it says it on the shirt. Any other comments? I stand corrected. I do have one more, and he's sitting in the front row this morning or this evening. I'd like to take an opportunity to introduce to the village board, as well as to the Village Tinley Park, our new village engineer, Ian Wade. Welcome to Tinley. We look forward to all of your services that you'll be able to render for us in a timely manner, I hope. I'd like to, if you happen to take an opportunity, feel free to introduce yourself and say a couple words about yourself if you'd like.
Absolutely. Thank you. Appreciate the opportunity to come to the Village of Tinley Park. I look forward to hopefully adding another dimension to the Public Works Department and the already extremely competent staff. Just a little bit about myself. I'm originally from central Wisconsin. I graduated from Platteville University. I've spent some time professionally in Las Vegas, Chicago, most recently in St. Petersburg, Florida. And I'm excited to have relocated back to the Chicago area with my wife, Amy, and 15-month-old daughter, McKenna. My previous time in Chicago included some time in Bridgeview, so I am familiar with the area in the southwest suburbs. So it's great to be back, and I look forward to the challenges at the village.
Appreciate it, Ian.
Well,
Thank
welcome.
you. Thank you very much.
Feel free to stop at Yvonne's, and they will embroider your shirt for you on Oak Park Avenue.
There you go. That answers my question. Thanks, Mike.
Just make sure you buy a shirt now, that's all, on the 29th.
Are we done?
Yes, sir.
Item number 8.
We're selling shirts.
Receive comments from the public.
Your name may-
comments this evening?
Your name may be take a little longer.
They charge by the letter.
Okay, it's nice to be back at Village Hall with the podium and whatnot. In regard, first I want to say a special thanks to Trustee Yonker and Trustee Glatz, who have still stayed in contact with me in regards to the fountain. I wanted to thank Lucas, who wasn't at a couple of the previous meetings, but he continues to scour not only in the United States but overseas ideas for the fountains that we're posting, and it's not something that we're giving up on. And in regards to what I believe was found out today, now I don't see Treasurer Bettenhausen here, so I'm going to defer to Councilor Connolly on this one. It's kind of an ordinance, I think maybe, I would prefer to ask this question to Treasurer Bettenhausen, but in regards to getting funds redirected, because it seems like there's an issue of money and that there was nothing budgeted to building a fountain, so we can't do anything unless funds are redirected from somewhere else in the budget for this fiscal year. Is that something that sounds right to you?
Let me see if I understand your question.
So it's like, so let's just say that we're looking for $60,000, just a round number, and it's like, well, that's a stumbling block apparently at this point because it wasn't budgeted out in the original 500-something page budget, and that someone else would, either the president, Mayor Vanderburg, or someone, I'm not exactly sure, but someone would have to direct the money to be redirected from something else that's in the existing budget. Does that sound right?
Yeah, I guess that sounds about right. There's a couple issues when you're, there is some authority in the Illinois state statutes for department heads to kind of rearrange a little bit. However, major changes to the budget require a budget amendment. That's an ordinance.
Okay.
So that comes, this board has the authority by ordinance to change, major line items and move things around, for lack of a better term, by ordinance.
Okay, so someone could introduce that as a budget amendment, even though it wasn't budgeted for originally in the fiscal year this year.
I don't know about this item specifically, I haven't looked at it, but yes, people can introduce budget amendments.
Okay. So it's like it exists, the
There's a
legal possibility.
Yes.
Okay, so that's good to hear. So if we find some bids or, find a number, then we could get someone to petition for a budget amendment then?
I don't know I don't know what you mean by get someone to petition for.
I guess it would come out of the budget committee, which I believe that would be you, Trustee Panito. So I guess the real process, which I'm trying to outline here, I'm trying to be very transparent, which is why I do this at public comments, so there's no underhandedness or whatnot. It would be introduced in your committee, I guess, as a possibility. Is that something that you'd be willing to consider?
I think last time I saw you, when you mentioned it, you said you saw a beautiful fountain someplace. When it contacts some people to get prices and things?
There was one gentleman at one of the meetings, yes, that said he had volunteered the fact he did fountains, so.
Perhaps you should, kind of get the pictures and the budget and the companies, and we'd certainly entertain it.
Okay. Yeah, then we will continue to pursue that. We'll find some bids from some vendors and bring them before your committee, Trustee Panito.
It would probably, if the board wanted to do this, we would probably look at the public works budget. There's a lot of capital projects where we often save money, and that's probably what we would do, is we'd look at an offset from something else.
Okay, cool.
So, yeah.
Thank you very much, Village Manager. Appreciate that.
Hey, how's it going? I know it's been a while. Fortunately, my trips have been conflicting with some meetings here. Just want to make a few comments. Mr. Brady, I ran a 5K on Saturday. Took me like 31 minutes, so run walk. So hopefully you're around there.
Yeah, right.
I just want to give a shout out and thanks to everyone who worked hard at the Caribbean Block Party, for all the Tinley Park staff. Had a good time there. Me and Mike definitely always enjoy it. I saw a few of the trustees and village officials here. Mr. Brady and Palazzo, of course, had their shirts, and easy to identify. Mr. Panito was Incognito Panito. He wasn't wearing a little ID or anything, but that's okay.
I had my shirt on, Lucas, but that's okay.
That's okay. I didn't see it, but that's fine.
I was getting a sausage sandwich at Village Pizza.
Okay. I trust it. There's pictorial evidence. No, but I just want to say that as a part of the Sister City Commission, I went to Budigen, Germany, for our sister city, and I went to their medieval fest, stayed with a host there who is also on the commission, and I know in the past there's been a loosening of relations, but fortunately enough, between myself and Mr. Jim Miller, who's also a commissioner on the Sister City Commission, went there recently also. We seem to have built up relations better. The letter that you had me send to go to the mayor was very, very well received out of everyone who had read it. And as far as everything I bought myself to kind of hand out to people and give thanks and welcome them and appreciate everything that they did for me for hospitality. Went very well. That they are looking to hopefully visit in the future, but that's something that's going to be done on a commission level. But just want to tell you that the mission went well, and everything was very, very well received.
We appreciate it, Lucas.
Thanks
for your travels abroad, and thanks for spreading the word of Tinley Park. We appreciate it.
You need to go back with our T-shirts.
Yeah, right. I'll be going back in August. So.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, my name is Sheehan. I live in the 6800 block of 173rd Place. I'm here to see about an update on what happened early this morning at 173rd Place and 69th Avenue.
I'll defer to the
We
police
didn't
chief.
get much of a warning except for meaning my wife and I, except for a lot of commotion and then some screaming of help, help, and then a gunshot, followed by numerous police cars and an ambulance.
Certainly.
So
I'll defer to the police
your
chief.
warning system is, I don't know what's going on here.
Okay, so 1:20 this morning, we did get a call of...
My wife did call the police.
Right, correct, shots fired. Responded, police officers found a gentleman, shot multiple times, and we found an offender, or a person of interest at this point, recovered a weapon. He was taken into custody. There was no danger to the neighborhood. We had everybody under control, and the weapon recovered shortly after we responded. Right now, we have that person in custody. We're awaiting direction from the state's attorney. They have to review it, so beyond that, we can't make, a public comment about the circumstances around the shooting. We did not put anything out early this morning because there was no danger to the public. Shortly after we got there, everything was under control, so that's why. Because then you'd just be waking people up.
I understand.
Upsetting them, things like that.
I have a question. Where was the person that was shot? What hospital did he go to?
I can't release that. I'm not sure. I think he was moved once, but I can't release that. That's medical information.
Okay, fine. Lastly, I would like to know when the trial is, if I could attend to that.
Absolutely, you can. We have to get approval from charges. When we get approval from charges from the state's attorney, we'll release the name of the suspect and what the charges are. That's all public record.
Okay, very good.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Mr. Ridgway? Good evening.
Hello, trustees. First off, just want to say congrats, trustee, for surviving your 5K, sir.
Thank you.
I'm just playing catch up from the July 11th meeting. I watched it on the video. Did anybody or could somebody just explain to me what home rule means? I have no idea.
What home rule means?
I believe it came up as a question, I think, to Mr. Niemeyer on
The village of Tinley Park is a home rule municipality, but we could discuss what the legalities of that is.
Yeah. Could you clarify for me?
I can, and I'll try to be brief, but we can, if you ever want to call me and talk about this, I could burn your whole 4 minutes, and I won't. So let me try to be quick, and if I don't hit it enough, feel free to circle back. There's two types of cities in Illinois: home rule, non-home rule. I always think it's easier to tell you what a home rule is not.
Okay.
So a non-home rule town has to follow, your only authority comes from the state statute to the state of Illinois.
Okay.
A home rule town has more autonomy to make its own laws, regulations, taxing authority to things that pertain within its boundaries. So in a very simple sense, non-home rule, the only authority you have to point to a state statute somewhere. Home rule on things that are purely local, we have more authority to do things.
Do whatever we want in the box, essentially.
Not exactly whatever we want.
Well,
but,
yeah.
We have a lot more authority, I guess is the best way to say it.
Gotcha. Okay. So it's just either we have to do what the state rule is, or we supersede whatever a state rule is.
That's a very
vague,
simple answer. Because
Yeah.
there are some laws that the state can take that power away from us. If the state creates a law, and you'll see it at the bottom, it'll say this is specifically meant to preempt home rule authority. It does exactly that. It preempts home rule authority.
Oh, okay, cool. And then I just had a question for you, Trustee Glotz. You said in the meeting one of the three contractors was a little higher than everybody else. And then you mentioned tonight that somebody, or could you repeat that, please, for me?
That's all listed if you go into the minutes and agenda for July 11th under Public Works.
Okay.
All the contractors are listed in there in their pricing sheet.
Okay.
Yeah, one was different than the other two.
Right, but you were saying tonight that somebody talked to one of the contractors, is that right? And kind of level set everything, is that right?
Yeah, Dave and Kevin.
Dave and Kevin, oh, okay.
Public Works and Village Manager.
Oh, okay. Cool. I just want to say thanks for saving the town money. That's great. Did you guys how does that work? I'm just a dumb citizen here. I don't know how public contract works.
I wasn't in on it. I don't know. I wasn't there. You'd have to ask Dave.
There was a request for request for qualifications sent out to numerous firms that were interviewed back in November, and that's how the process started. There was over 15 firms that were interviewed. We narrowed it down to 5, and we chose 3.
Gotcha.
Professional service, you don't want to take the low bid necessary for professional service.
Yeah, obviously. Yeah.
And I contacted the Trustee Glotz had some concerns about pricing, so I contacted Christopher Burke, and I set up a meeting for Monday, and they came in and talked to the village manager, and they negotiated down the prices, so.
Great. Hey, great work. Thanks a lot.
Yep.
An RFP would be, like Trustee Yunker was saying, then you would have to do it by pricing. RFQ opens it up, correct?
RFQ is.
Is RFQ
RFQ is just qualifications.
Wait, RFQ is request for quote?
An RFQ
Qualifications.
Oh,
is an
okay.
acronym for request for qualifications. RFP is a request for proposals.
Gotcha.
I will say this, and when anytime you're looking at professional services, you don't have, it's not like you're bidding out street work or you're bidding out pencils, those types of public works projects, things like that.
Like, right,
There-
doing
there's
an entire sewer along a
There's
street.
a body
kind
of
thing,
law
right?
that the low bidder wins the contract.
Uh-huh.
The lowest responsible bidder, so long,
Well,
so long as they're responsible.
Yeah.
When you're in the professional services realm, you don't have to go, you don't have that law applying to you that you have to go with the lowest price.
Okay.
That's the
Okay,
easiest.
and I know I'm over time, just really quick. When you say professional services,
Architects, engineers,
Oh,
attorneys,
okay.
things like that.
gotcha.
Things that require
Sorry,
specified knowledge or training. No, good question.
I don't know what professional services on the public side, Matt, that's all.
Good question.
All right, cool. Thanks, guys.
Thank you. Mr. Smith.
Hi, I'm Gary Smith, Mr. Mayor, trustees. I'd just like to take this opportunity to thank everybody that was involved with the block party down on Oak Park Avenue this weekend. It was fantastic. The weather cooperated, first time in a long time. It wasn't stifling hot. The bands were outstanding. The crowd was really into it. Everybody seemed to be enjoying themselves. And I'd just like to again say thank you for all of everybody involved. It went off flawlessly.
The lady in the front row, you can thank to your left, Donna.
Thank you.
Any other comments from the public? Yes, sir.
Yeah, this pertains to the fountain. I was just researching some fountains, and I came up with Evanston had a fountain square, and ironically, Christopher Burke, they hired them to monitor the project. There was also a general contractor, so if we were to have a fountain in Tinley, would we go the same route, or would Tinley's engineering monitor the project, or?
Yeah, our engineer would monitor, but most of the infrastructure's in, so it doesn't really need to be engineered. We just need to buy a new fountain and put it in, so there wouldn't be much engineering involved.
Okay. Plus, I don't have the pictures on my phone. I have them on my iPad of Evanston, and they have like numerous different fountains in different areas and stuff like that. So.
Yeah, something we do have.
Okay.
We are getting quotes now.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks.
You're welcome. Any other comments? The record reflect there are none. This time, item number 9. I ask for a motion to consider adjourning to executive session to discuss the following items. The setting of a price for sale or lease of property owned by the public body, the purchase or lease of real property for the use of the public body, including meetings held for the purpose of discussing whether a particular parcel should be acquired, and C, the appointment, employment, compensation, discipline, performance, or dismissal of specific employees of the public body or legal counsel for the public body, including the hearing testimony on a complaint lodged against an employee of the public body or against legal counsel for the public body to determine its validity. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Moved by Mr. Yonker, and a second?
Second.
Seconded by Mr. Glotz. Is this a roll call? Roll call, please.
Trustee Yonker.
Yay.
Trustee Panito.
Yes.
Trustee Berg.
Yes.
Trustee Brady.
Yes.
Trustee Glatz.
Yes.
Trustee Mangan.
Yes.
Thank you. Motion carries. We don't expect to come back out of executive session. There will be nothing.
Mr. Mayor, before we adjourn, could I go back? I'm sorry, can I do that? I just want to make an announcement concerning our Coffee with a Cop this Saturday at the train station from 10 until noon. And also like to invite everybody to National Night Out, where they get a chance to meet and greet with all of our public works and the police department and see their equipment and so on and so forth.
It's all on the website.
It's
Thank you.
Cavallini's train station on Oak Park.
Thank you very much. Have a good evening.